Picture this. Someone looks at you, smiles, and says, "Tell me about yourself." And suddenly, your mind goes completely blank.
Oh, right. Your heart starts beating faster.
Exactly. Your hands might even start to sweat. You know the English words. I mean, you have studied them. They are in your head.
But right now, in this moment, they are completely gone. You just freeze.
Right. So today, in this deep dive into our sources, we are going to look at exactly why your brain sabotages you in this moment.
Yes, we are going to explore the psychology of speaking a foreign language.
And most importantly, we will show you how to build a perfect, simple introduction without needing any difficult vocabulary or, long, complicated sentences.
Because that feeling of freezing, it is incredibly common. Almost every person who learns a new language experiences this blank mind. It is a very real physical reaction.
So why does it happen? How do we fix it?
Well, to understand how to fix it, we first need to understand the why. It comes down to something in your brain called working memory.
Working memory, okay.
Right. You can think of your working memory like a small table in your mind. This table is where you put the English words you want to say right now.
So when someone asks me to introduce myself, I'm trying to put words on that small table.
Exactly. But when you feel nervous or afraid, your brain takes all your fear, all your worry about making a mistake, and it puts those feelings on the table first.
Oh, wow. So suddenly the table is completely full.
Yes. There is no room left for the English words. They fall off the table. That is why you freeze.
That makes perfect sense.
So the goal of our discussion today is to clear that table. We want to remove the fear so the words have a place to sit.
And I think the biggest thing putting fear on that table is the pressure we put on ourselves. We think we have to give a huge speech.
Yes, we think we need to tell our whole life story.
Right. I want to look at what our source material calls the 5-minute myth. This is the false idea that an introduction needs to be a long presentation.
The 5-minute myth is exactly why people panic. If you think you must speak for 5 minutes straight in a second language,
of course your working memory fills up with fear.
Exactly. But the reality is very different. Native speakers almost never speak for 5 minutes when they introduce themselves.
Okay, let's unpack this. It is like thinking you have to cook a huge 5-course dinner when someone just asked for a small snack.
That is a brilliant way to say it. A good introduction is not a solo presentation. It is actually much more like a tennis serve.
A tennis serve? Wait, how does that work in a conversation?
Well, think about playing a friendly game of tennis. When you serve the ball, your goal is not to win the game on the very first hit.
Right, you just want to get it over the net.
Exactly. Your only goal is to hit the ball over the net so the other person can hit it back. You want to start a rhythm. You want to play together.
Oh, so a conversation works the exact same way.
Yes. When someone asks about you, you just need to gently hit the conversational ball over the net. You give them a small piece of information, and then you wait for them to hit it back with a question.
That immediately makes the task feel so much lighter. We just need to get the ball over the net.
Just a simple snack, like you said.
Right. But that brings us to the actual structure. Since we only need a snack, what exactly should be in it?
Our source material provides a clear map for this. Instead of a long speech, we just need 2 main pieces, an anchor and a hook.
An anchor and a hook. Let's look at the anchor first.
The anchor is what makes people feel grounded and comfortable with you. It is the very basic information.
So step 1, say your name. Step 2, say where you are from.
Yes, and step 3, talk about your job or your studies. These details are essential because they tell the other person where you fit in the world.
Right, if I just walk up to someone and say, I love playing the guitar, they do not know who I am. It is too sudden.
Exactly. If you do not give an anchor, people feel confused.
So the anchor is saying, hi, my name is, and I am from, and I work as.
Yes, that is the safe, clear foundation. But an anchor alone is a little bit dry. If you only give your name and your job, it sounds like you are reading a government form.
You sound like a machine.
Right. That is why the second part of the structure is so important. You must follow the anchor with a hook. Step 4 is mentioning 1 or 2 hobbies.
And step 5 is adding one interesting fact, like loving travel or having a dog or your favorite sport.
Exactly. The hook is where you become a human being. It is where you show your personality. But structurally, the hook does something very important for the listener. It provides something we call cognitive relief.
Cognitive relief. That sounds like making things easy for the other person's brain. How does sharing a hobby do that?
But when you need someone new, their brain is also working hard. They want to keep the conversation going, but they might not know what to ask you.
Oh, so they are stressed too.
Yes. But if you give them a hook like mentioning that you love traveling, you give them a prepackaged topic, you make it incredibly easy for them to ask a follow-up question.
You relieve the stress on their brain. They can just say, oh, where do you like to travel?
You have successfully hit the tennis ball over the net, and you told them exactly how to hit it back.
Here is where it gets really interesting. Let's see this anchor and hook combination in action. Our source material gives us a great example from a man named Paul.
Oh, Paul's example is perfect.
Listen to how simple this is. Paul says, "Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Australia. I work as an English teacher. I enjoy helping people learn English. And in my free time, I like playing soccer and listening to music."
Notice how natural that sounds. It takes maybe 10 or 12 seconds to say.
Right, very short.
But look at the social dynamics happening there.
Yeah.
Paul drops his anchor. Name, Australia, English teacher. Now we feel grounded. We know who he is.
And then he throws out his hooks. He likes helping people. He plays soccer, and he listens to music.
Yes. He gives the listener 3 different options to hit the ball back. The listener could ask about Australia, about teaching, about soccer, or about music.
Paul is doing all the hard work to make the conversation easy for the other person, and he is doing it with very basic English.
He is using words like teacher, soccer, and music.
I want to ask you about that. Why do these specific 5 small details work so perfectly together without any hard grammar?
Because beautiful, effective communication does not require advanced vocabulary. It requires structure. Paul's structure gives a complete but brief picture of who he is. It is friendly, and it invites a question.
Okay, let's look at another example from the source to really see how this structure repeats. This is Emily.
Go ahead.
She says, "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm from Canada, and I live in Toronto. I'm a university student studying art because I love drawing and painting. In my free time, I enjoy reading books, drinking coffee with friends, and taking photos."
Emily uses the exact same mechanics. Anchor, Canada, Toronto, student, hooks. Drawing, reading, coffee, photos. But Emily adds something very clever here.
What is that?
She doesn't just say she studies art. She says she studies art because she loves drawing. She doesn't just say she likes coffee. She says she likes drinking coffee with friends.
She is adding specific details.
Yes, and this leads us to a new concept. Small details make a big difference. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these small details do more than just show off your English.
Right, they give the other person a specific topic to talk about next.
Exactly. Many language learners will say a very basic sentence like, "I like music." That is a perfectly fine sentence.
It is correct grammar, sure.
But socially, it is a very small hook. It is hard for the listener to grab. They have to think really hard to find a question.
Right, they have to guess what kind of music or when you listen to it. Their brain has to do extra work. So this brings us to an exciting point. We don't have to learn hard new words to fix this.
No, not at all. The secret is just adding a specific action or a reason. The word because is your best tool.
Oh, I see.
So instead of saying just, "I like music," you upgrade it. You say, "I love listening to pop music because it makes me feel happy."
You are using simple, everyday words. Love, pop, music, happy. But socially, you have given the listener a rich, detailed picture.
Exactly. Let's apply this upgrade to another common hobby. Let's say your hobby is sports.
Okay, so the basic sentence is, "I like sports." Again, a very small hook.
To make that hook bigger, we add specific details about the action. The source suggests saying, "I play volleyball every weekend with my friends."
Ah, you are sharing the who, the when, and the what.
Yes. You play volleyball, you play every weekend, you play with your friends.
By giving those specific details, I am giving the listener so many more paths to choose from. They can ask, "Where do you play?" Or, "Are your friends competitive?"
It is like setting up the perfect tennis game. And again, notice the vocabulary. Weekend, friends, volleyball. These are beginner words.
But you sound highly fluent when you use them like this.
Yes. You sound comfortable. You are managing the social interaction like an expert.
So what does this all mean? If this combination of an anchor and detailed hooks is so perfect, is the goal to just sit down, write this exact introduction out, and memorize it?
Absolutely not. The sources strongly advise against memorizing one single introduction. Every situation is different.
What is the danger of memorizing just one script?
If you try to speak a memorized script, your brain will focus entirely on remembering the exact lines. You will stop listening to the other person. You will sound like a robot, not a person having a natural chat.
And the rules of the social game change depending on where you are.
Exactly. You must adapt your anchor and your hook to fit the environment. We call this reading the room. Yeah, think about who you are talking to.
Reading the room. Let's test this out. Say I am at a formal job interview. The manager says, "Tell me about yourself." Does this mean I should write down and practice a totally different introduction?
You don't need to write a whole new script, but you should mentally adjust your focus. In a job interview, the manager wants to know if you can do the work.
So my anchor needs to focus on work experience. I still say my name and location, but I spend more time on my job history.
Yes, and your hook should be a professional fact. You probably shouldn't say you love drinking coffee with friends.
Right. That does not fit the room.
You might say, in my free time, I really enjoy reading books about leadership. You give them a hook that shows you are a good worker.
That makes total sense. Okay, let's change the room. Let's say I am in a new English class. The teacher asks the students to introduce themselves.
Well, in a classroom, everyone shares a common goal. They are all learning English.
So my hook should connect to that goal.
Exactly. You could talk about why you are learning English. You say, I'm learning English because I want to study in London.
Oh, that creates an instant bond. The other students might say, I want to study in London too. You are building a bridge.
Exactly. You adapt to the room. Now, what if you are at a loud, fun party on a Friday night?
A party is the exact opposite of a job interview.
Right. At a party, people want to relax and laugh. They do not want to hear a serious list of your professional skills.
So I make the anchor very short and I make the hooks much bigger, focusing on hobbies and fun interests.
Perfect. Hi, I'm from Brazil. I work in sales, but my real passion is cooking Italian food. At a party, food, music, and movies are the best hooks.
So we don't need a different script for every room. We just adjust the balance between the anchor and the hook.
Yes, always think about your audience and what they care about most in that specific moment.
This gives us so much flexibility, but I need to stop here because I hear you saying we should be relaxed and flexible, but let's be real for a moment. Let's talk about the actual fear of speaking to a native English speaker.
The fear of making grammar mistakes.
Yes. The formula is great, but when I am standing in front of a native speaker, it feels like they are a teacher. Like they are grading my grammar with a red pen.
It is a very natural fear.
But what if I make a mistake and feel embarrassed? If I say in instead of on, won't they think my English is terrible?
This raises an important question, but let me reassure you. That fear is entirely disconnected from reality. Native speakers are not grading your grammar.
Wait, really? Because we often think native speakers speak perfectly in every conversation.
They absolutely do not. Spoken language is messy. It is full of pauses, mistakes, and corrections. When a native speaker asks about you, they're looking for human connection, not grammatical perfection.
So making small grammar mistakes is completely okay.
Yes. If you use the wrong preposition, it truly does not matter to the flow of the conversation. People just want to know who you are.
But knowing that in my head and feeling that in my heart in the moment are two different things. How do we physically push through that fear?
Our sources provide clear physical actions you can take. The first actionable step is to check your speaking speed. Speak slowly.
Because when people get nervous, they naturally try to talk very fast.
Right, they want to get the scary moment over as quickly as possible. Or they think speaking fast makes them look more fluent.
But that is a trap, isn't it?
It is. Speaking fast does not equal fluency. Actually, rushing makes you stumble.
Yeah.
When you force yourself to speak slowly, you signal to your own brain that you are safe.
You calm your nervous system?
And you give your working memory, that small table, the time it needs to find the English words. A slow pace sounds thoughtful and confident.
Okay. Speak slowly. What is the next physical action?
The next action is remarkably simple, but it changes everything. Smile.
Just smile. Does that really change how people hear my English?
Yes. When you smile, the physical shape of your mouth changes. Your voice actually sounds warmer, softer, and more welcoming.
And when a listener hears a warm voice, their brain responds with kindness.
Exactly. A warm smile and speaking slowly will cover almost any small grammar mistake you make. Confidence and friendliness are much more important than perfect grammar.
It all comes back to human connection. It is not an English test.
Right. And do not be afraid of making mistakes. Every time you speak, you are training your brain. Every conversation makes you a better speaker.
So let's briefly recap these highly encouraging takeaways for you. First, keeping it short is better than a long speech.
Yes, just hit the tennis ball gently over the net.
Second, the 5-step formula is your map. Give people your basic anchor facts to ground them and offer a hook for cognitive relief.
Third, small details add life. Upgrading your simple sentences with specific actions or the word because paints a vivid picture.
Fourth, adapt to your situation. Read the room to choose the right details.
And finally, always choose confidence over perfection. Speak slowly, smile, and know the connection is what truly matters.
Next time someone says, "Tell me about yourself," you can take a deep breath, smile, and know exactly what to do. You do not need to let your mind go blank.
We talked a lot today about how to answer when someone asks you to introduce yourself, but I want to leave you with one final thought to explore on your own. What if the fastest way to build your confidence isn't practicing alone, but being brave enough to be the first person to walk up, smile, and ask someone else, "So tell me about yourself"?